GMNA uses artificial intelligence for generated speech, visuals, and production. AI-generated content may contain errors. Please verify important information before making decisions or taking action. Live from the GMNA News Center, this is the Lunch Break News Hour.
Good afternoon, I'm CJ Waterhouse. Our top story, a Quebec group kicks off a 16-day shoreline cleanup of the St. Lawrence River. We'll also check today's traffic, minor delays across the network, and a quick look at the weather ahead of Fierté Montreal. Over to you, Jeff.
Fierté Montreal Parade will take place Saturday and Sunday on Boulevard St. Laurent, featuring over 30 local performers and community groups.
The festival also offers a family-friendly street market with artisan foods, crafts, and a pop-up stage for emerging queer artists, running all weekend.
Tickets for the main concert on Sunday evening are free, but attendees must register online due to capacity limits, with entry on a first-come, first-served basis.
Lots to get to. Let's begin and dive into today's stories together. We'll explore the latest community happenings, cultural events, and local initiatives as they unfold. Here are our top stories.
Morissette, a Quebec environmental group, has launched a 16-day cleanup of the St. Lawrence River shoreline in Montreal to combat pollution endangering whales, turtles, and other wildlife. Matthew Lachance has the full story.
Volunteers from the Morissette Environmental Collective have begun a 16-day sweep of the St. Lawrence River shoreline here in Montreal. Teams are moving along the banks, collecting plastic debris, fishing nets, and other litter that accumulate near popular access points. Organizers say the effort targets pollutants that endanger whales, turtles, and a host of smaller river species. Recent studies have linked rising trash levels to deteriorating health among the river's marine life, spurring community groups to act. Over the next 2 weeks, crews will rotate shifts, focusing on high-traffic zones and coordinating with municipal services to ensure safe disposal. The initiative aims to restore cleaner habitats and raise public awareness about the river's fragile ecosystem. Matthew Lachance, GMNA News, Montreal.
Pierre-Luc Brillant is once again the Parti Québécois candidate in Rosemont, a Montreal riding where he placed third in the 2022 election behind Quebec Solidaire and the CAQ. Matthew Lachance has the full story.
Pierre-Luc Brillant is back on the ballot for the Parti Québécois in the Rosemont riding, announcing his candidacy for this fall's provincial election. He previously finished third in the 2022 contest, trailing a Quebec Solidaire contender and a Coalition Avenir Quebec candidate. Brillant says his campaign will focus on renewing the party's presence in the neighborhood, stressing issues like affordable housing, public transit improvements, and protecting the French language. He noted that the riding's diverse electorate still seeks a clear alternative to the current government, and he hopes to rally both longtime supporters and new voters. The PQ hopes his experience and local ties can shift the balance in a traditionally competitive district. Matthew Lachance, GMNA News, Rosemont.
St. Pie Council approved a land reserve on the 57-year-old Saner racetrack, paving the way for a potential new high school in the municipality. Matthew Lachance has the full story.
The Council of St. Pie met this week, during the week of August 8, to vote on a land reserve designation for the 57-year-old Saner racetrack. Members approved the motion, setting aside the racetrack grounds as a possible location for a new high school serving the town. Officials said the reserve will keep the site available while planning proceeds, and they highlighted the need for additional educational capacity. The decision follows a broader review of municipal assets, with the racetrack's future now tied to the school project. No final construction timeline has been set, but the council hopes the reserve will streamline later approvals. Residents will watch the next steps closely as the town evaluates the proposal. Matthew Lachance, GMNA News, St. Pie.
Applications to contest rent hikes in Quebec City have nearly tripled over the past 5 years, as higher rents and limited availability push tenants toward the Tribunal Administratif du Logement. Ramai Gaudreau has the full story.
Applications filed with the Tribunal Administratif du Logement to contest or adjust rents have surged, climbing to almost 3 times what they were 5 years ago. Tenants say steep rent hikes and a shrinking pool of available units are forcing them into a drawn-out legal process that can drag on for months. The surge reflects a tighter rental market across Quebec City, where landlords have been raising rates faster than wages keep pace. Housing advocates warn that the growing backlog at the tribunal is stretching resources, leaving many renters waiting longer for decisions. Still, more tenants are pressing forward, hoping the tribunal will curb excessive increases. Ramai Gaudreau, GMNA News, Old Quebec.
Police officers removed 3 youths from a soccer game in the Maisonneuve Elementary School courtyard in Hochelaga, Maisonneuve on August 7, 7 p.m. after arriving in 2 patrol cars. Ramai Gaudreau has the full story.
At about 7 o'clock this evening, officers in uniform rolled into the courtyard of Maisonneuve Elementary School in the Hochelaga Maisonneuve district. 2 patrol cars were parked nearby as a team of 5 police members approached a group of 3 pre-teenagers who were in the middle of a soccer match. The officers instructed the youngsters to leave the schoolyard and escorted them off the grounds, ending the game. A neighbor, Noam Arbiaoui, watched as the police carried out the removal. Uniformed officers arrived equipped with radios and shields, a standard response in the neighborhood. The reason for the removal was not disclosed at the scene. Ramai Gaudreau, GMNA News, Hochelaga Maisonneuve.
Later we'll dive into how U.S. firms are releasing hundreds of thousands of mosquitoes to curb disease-spreading tiger species. We will be right back. Every day, important stories happen across the city before any news crew arrives. Sometimes the very first person at the story is you. When you witness something newsworthy, open the GMNA Citizen Reporter app and start your report. The app guides you through every step while your report is delivered directly to the GMNA newsroom. Every submission is reviewed by our editorial team, and approved reports may be featured on GMNA. Get the GMNA Citizen Reporter app today at my.gmna.ca. Your city, your news.
Welcome back. U.S. firms are releasing hundreds of thousands of mosquitoes in Montreal to suppress Asian tiger mosquito populations that spread dengue, chikungunya, and Zika. Etienne Normandin of the Institut de Recherche en Biologie Végétale comments. Ramai Gaudreau has the full story.
American companies are dropping hundreds of thousands of sterile mosquitoes across the city in a bid to suppress the invasive Asian tiger mosquito, the vector behind dengue, chikungunya, and Zika. Researchers at the Institut de Recherche en Biologie Végétale, including Etienne Normandin of the University of Montreal, say the released insects will mate with wild tiger mosquitoes, reducing their numbers over time. The program, launched this week, aims to lower the risk of disease transmission in neighborhoods where the tiger mosquito has become established. Officials are monitoring the release sites closely, tracking any changes in mosquito populations and viral activity as the strategy rolls out across Montreal. Early trials elsewhere have shown modest drops in tiger mosquito numbers. Ramai Gaudreau, GMNA News, Montreal.
Researchers have confirmed a tornado hit Repentigny on August 2, tearing trees and damaging buildings in the Montreal suburb. Ramai Gaudreau has the full story.
The storm that rolled through the Montreal suburb of Repentigny on August 2 turned out to be a tornado, researchers say. Aerial surveys and ground inspections showed a narrow, twisting vortex that ripped through residential streets, snapping dozens of mature trees and shearing off roof sections from several homes. Police reports noted scattered debris littering the main thoroughfare, while power crews worked to restore electricity to affected blocks. Meteorologists identified the funnel as a low to mid-range tornado, marking one of the few such events in the region this year. Several local businesses reported broken windows and roof damage, and a community center sustained partial roof collapse, prompting temporary relocation of services. Officials are assessing structural damage and coordinating cleanup efforts across the neighborhood. Ramai Gaudreau, GMNA News, Repentigny.
Journalist Jean-François Cloutier announced his candidacy for the Parti Québécois in the Montreal riding on August 7, adding a journalist to the party's candidate slate on the South Shore. Ramai Gaudreau has the full story.
Jean-François Cloutier, a veteran journalist with Journal de Montreal, stepped onto a downtown podium in Montreal this morning to announce he is running as the Parti Québécois candidate for the riding. He outlined his decision to move from the newsroom to the campaign trail, citing a desire to give back to the community he covers daily. Party officials were on hand, confirming his nomination will be formalized later this week. The riding, a key district on Montreal's South Shore, has swung between parties in recent elections, making the race closely watched. The Parti Québécois, a long-standing provincial party, welcomed Cloutier's entry as part of its effort to rebuild its presence in the region. Remy Gaudreau, GMNA News, Montreal.
Starting in 2031, the Société de Transport de Montréal will run the Green Line exclusively with legacy Mr. 73 subway cars, which the agency says are 11 times less reliable than newer models. Remy Gaudreau has the full story.
Starting in 2031, the Green Line will run solely with the legacy Mr. 73 subway cars, the STM announced today. Those steel-clad units, first rolled out in the 70s, will replace the mixed fleet that currently shares the tracks with newer models. The Transit Authority warned the older cars are 11 times less reliable than the modern trains, citing higher rates of mechanical failures and service disruptions. Commuters can expect the same route through downtown, the Plateau and Verdun, but with a fleet that the agency says will need more frequent maintenance. The shift comes as part of a broader rolling stock plan the STM is still finalizing. Officials say the transition will be phased in over the next several months. Remy Gaudreau, GMNA News, Montreal.
The Sûreté du Québec has terminated a silver alert after locating an 80-year-old woman missing from Cowansville, ending the province's public notification for senior disappearances. Matthew Lachance has the full story.
Police have called off the province's silver alert after the missing 80-year-old resident of Cowansville was found safe. The Quebec Provincial Police said officers located the senior early Thursday afternoon near her home, ending the public notification that had been in place since she was reported missing the previous evening. The woman, who was alone at the time of the disappearance, was discovered by a neighbor who alerted officers. No injuries were reported, and she is expected to return home later today. Authorities reminded the public that silver alerts are issued when vulnerable seniors go missing, but this case concluded quickly once she was located. Family members expressed relief at the swift resolution. Matthew Lachance, GMNA News, Cowansville.
Let's check the afternoon outlook with our meteorologist, who will tell us what's coming next. A westerly jet at 127 kilometers per hour is capping the city, keeping clouds thin. On this date, the city once sweltered to 32.3 degrees in 2025, a spike that rode a lingering heat wave from the south. The cold counterpart fell to 12.8 degrees in 2016, when an Arctic surge slipped through the Great Lakes corridor. Normal highs hover around 25 degrees and lows near 18, so both extremes sit well outside the climatological envelope. Those records remind us how quickly the jet stream can buckle, delivering heat or cold far beyond the seasonal norm. The live radar shows a canvas across Quebec. No precipitation echoes are present, and reflectivity is flat from the St. Lawrence out to the Adirondack border. A weak ridge of high pressure is pushing eastward, reinforced by the westerly jet aloft, which suppresses lift. With the atmosphere drying out, any showers that might have formed are being sheared apart. Expect the clear pattern to persist through the afternoon, clearing the city by early evening. At noon, the city sits under mostly cloudy skies with a temperature of 23 degrees, humidity near 87%, and a gentle southwest breeze at 11 kilometers per hour, gusting to 22. Pressure is near average but nudging upward, signaling drier, more stable air arriving from the west. The westerly jet at 127 kilometers per hour streams aloft, steering any mid-level disturbances away and reinforcing the ridge. With the ridge in place, temperatures will climb to a high of 26 before dipping to a low of 19 after sunset. UV index sits at 5, and wind remains modest, maxing at 18 kilometers per hour from the southwest. No weather alerts are active. The atmosphere will stay calm through the evening, setting the stage for tomorrow's outlook. Looking ahead, Monday brings a continuation of the high-pressure ridge with overcast skies and a high of 26 degrees, low falling to 18. Tuesday eases a bit as cloud cover thins, delivering mainly clear conditions and a high of 25, low still near 18. Wednesday reintroduces moisture as a weak trough slides east, producing light rain and a 60% chance of showers. Temperatures stay around 25 with a low of 18. Thursday sees the ridge regain strength, clearing the sky but a lingering chance of rain at 65% as a stray band drifts south, while highs dip to 22 and lows to 15.
Friday caps the stretch with clear skies, a high of 21 and a low of 15, offering a dry finish to the week. And that's your weather. Remember, the lunch break is also available as a podcast. Listen anytime on Spotify or wherever you get your podcasts.
Traffic's light across the network. A look at Fierté Montreal, Ottacuthan and Under Pressure, plus Habs players ready for roles. We will be right back. Every day, important stories happen across the city before any news crew arrives. Sometimes the very first person at the story is you. When you witness something newsworthy, open the GMNA Citizen Reporter app and start your report. The app guides you through every step while your report is delivered directly to the GMNA newsroom. Every submission is reviewed by our editorial team, and approved reports may be featured on GMNA. Get the GMNA Citizen Reporter app today at my.gmna.ca. Your city, your news.
Major roadwork continues on Autoroute 30 in Varennes. Westbound traffic from Montaigne to Picardy is down to a single lane, and the segment between Montaigne to Picardy and Dulac is moving at a crawl. A separate closure at Autoroute 30 Vaudreuil-Dorion, exit 2, forces drivers onto Boulevard de la Cité des Jeunes, adding at least 15 minutes of delay. Minor work on Autoroute 30 near Chateauguay, between R132 and exit 41, is causing intermittent slowdowns but no full stops. On the island, Autoroute 13 service road is under maintenance, shaving a few minutes off the north-south flow. Autoroute 15's Daiquiri corridor between Avenues Burritt and Van Horn sees lane reductions that may ripple into the downtown core. Further east, Autoroute 20 near Sainte-Anne-de-Bellevue is seeing pavement work, though traffic remains steady. No transit disruptions have been reported this morning. Expect the South Shore bottlenecks to linger into the afternoon, while most other arteries should clear as the day progresses.
Fierté Montreal bursts onto the esplanade of the Olympic Park today, a 3-day pride celebration packed with drag shows, live music and DJ sets that turn the city into a rainbow playground. Next, Ottacuthan rolls out at the Palais des Congrès, Canada's second-largest anime convention, where manga vendors, panels, and surprise guest appearances give fans a full-on pop culture fix. Over at Clock Tower Quay, Afro-Monde Festival lights the old port with African rhythms, dance workshops, and a carnival parade, a perfect way to soak up vibrant world sounds on a summer afternoon. Looking ahead, Isle Sonic returns later this week on Parc Jean Drapeau, promising an electronic music marathon with headliners like Seven Lions, Woolly, and Holy Priest that will keep the dance floor buzzing into the night. If you're craving bass-heavy beats, mark your calendar now. Stay tuned for more of Montreal's non-stop summer lineup. And now here's Jason with sports.
Habs gearing up, goalie depth, rising stars, and near-miss prospects shape the season. Jacob Dobish says the Canadians can thrive whether they carry 2 or 3 netminders into the 2027 campaign. Alexander Carrier points to the club's youth and multiple playoff runs as evidence that depth in goal won't hinder a push for the postseason. 5 Canadians are slated to elevate their game this year, with Lane Hutson earmarked as the league's next top defenseman within 5 years. Their expected growth adds firepower to a roster already rich in youthful experience, positioning Montreal for a deeper playoff run. The latest top under 25 spotlights 9 near-miss prospects, skaters with NHL-level skill but lacking a full roster package, plus a few unproven goalies. Each has logged at least 1 NHL appearance, signaling a pool of talent that could soon fill depth holes for Montreal.
Canadian National Railway, operating out of its downtown Montreal hub, is rolling out a $2 billion Canadian expansion that will reshape the city's rail corridor. CN, the backbone of freight movement across Canada, is adding new tracks, modernizing yards and boosting capacity to handle a surge in container traffic. The project will create hundreds of construction jobs now and long-term logistics positions once the line is live, while giving local manufacturers faster, greener access to global markets. For neighborhoods along the new route, it means quieter, more efficient service and a revitalized industrial corridor. CN's commitment reminds us that the steel rails beneath our streets are still the lifeblood of Montreal's economy. Up next, the Premier explains why U.S. alcohol will stay off our shelves, followed by the Canada unemployment dip. Stay tuned. Every day, important stories happen across the city before any news crew arrives. Sometimes the very first person at the story is you. When you witness something newsworthy, open the GMNA Citizen Reporter app and start your report. The app guides you through every step while your report is delivered directly to the GMNA newsroom. Every submission is reviewed by our editorial team, and approved reports may be featured on GMNA. Get the GMNA Citizen Reporter app today at my.gmna.ca. Your city, your news. The Alouettes are gearing up to defend their home field dominance at Percival Molson Memorial Stadium tonight as they host the Edmonton Elks in what could be a pivotal showdown for the season. Fans are filling the stands, hoping to see the Alouettes extend their winning streak. Carl Dumont is there. Carl Dumont.
Thanks CJ Waterhouse. The camera sweeps across the cracked concrete of Percival Molson Memorial Stadium, the scent of fresh-cut grass mingling with summer humidity as fans in red jerseys flood the lower bowl. A banner bearing the Alouettes' soaring logo flutters above the north end, while vendors shout out hot dogs, smoked meat sandwiches, and maple syrup poutine. The field glows a vivid emerald, goalposts glinting under the early evening lights, and the echo of a marching band's drumbeat rolls across the Verdun neighborhood. Inside the locker rooms, the Owls huddle, eyes sharp, knowing their home record has become a fortress. Across the tunnel, the Edmonton Elks arrive, their helmets reflecting the stadium's neon glow, ready to test the Owls' dominance. The energy is electric, each cheer a pulse that drives the players forward. A win tonight would not just extend a streak, it would reinforce a city's belief that its football heart beats strongest at home. Carl Dumont, virtually at Percival Molson Memorial Stadium. Welcome back. Quebec Premier confirms U.S. alcohol will stay off provincial liquor shelves, rejecting speculation of a policy shift. The ban remains in place as Canada reviews trade talks. Matthew Lachance has the full story.
Premier François Legault told reporters on August 7th that American wines, spirits and beers will continue to be excluded from Quebec state-run SAQ stores. He emphasized the province's commitment to the existing import ban, rejecting recent speculation that Ottawa might loosen the rule to appease U.S. market pressure. Legault noted the policy protects local producers and aligns with public health objectives, while acknowledging ongoing talks at the federal level. No change will be made to the current prohibition, he said, and the government will maintain the status quo for the foreseeable future. The decision comes as Canada weighs broader trade considerations, but the province's stance remains firm. Matthew Lachance, GMNA News, Montreal.
Canada's unemployment rate fell as the nation added 75,000 jobs, while Quebec's rate ticked higher despite the gains. Statistics Canada released the data this afternoon. Ramai Gaudreau has the full story.
The latest labor figures show Canada's overall unemployment rate slipping lower after a net addition of 75,000 jobs across the country. While the national dip signals a tightening market, Quebec's rate nudged upward by a fraction, marking a modest rise despite the same wave of job growth. Statistics Canada attributes the national decline to the fresh positions, yet the province's labor pool saw a slight mismatch between openings and seekers. The new jobs span manufacturing, healthcare, and construction, contributing to the broader drop, while Quebec's increase reflects regional variations in hiring patterns. The data underscore a divergent trend between the country's aggregate outlook and the province's short-term dynamics. Ramai Gaudreau, GMNA News, Quebec.
Thank you, Montreal, for joining us on the lunch break. Today's look at the 16-day St. Lawrence River shoreline cleanup reminded us of our shared responsibility for the environment. Stay curious, stay informed, and we'll be back tomorrow with more stories that matter to you. See you then.